Hey guys, welcome to Confessions from a Red Couch podcast. I'm here live today. I am Janae Strickland, and I am your host. As you can see, I'm by myself today. I haven't done this since like the first episode, but we're gonna make it happen. Life things in life happens. Nothing bad happened this week. Actually, great things happened this week. My niece was born. If you remember, my sister was on the second episode and she was pregnant and looking gorgeous. And now she just had the most beautifulest baby in the world. So I am so excited to be an auntie for like the third time. So it's good things. It's her first. Mind you, it's her first, but I have two other niece and nephews. So super excited. But today I'm here. Welcome to the show where we just sit and I confess about life lessons learned in my 30s and other things and how all of that is going. Today's episode is called Why I Never Really Wanted to Be Wife Material. So let's get into the show. First things first, let's get into some dating things. Let's talk about some dating stuff. So you should see in a second, like my dating tips. I put these on my Instagram account because they are so much fun. And, some people get angry and some people like them. I just speak from my heart. So dating tip, and I put random numbers, so it's not really random. Dating tip number, blah, 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 blah. Don't settle because you're lonely. That feeling will pass, but it will cause you to make unnecessary permanent decisions. Let me tell you something. I can say this from not experience because I don't have any permanent decisions. But I know some people, because they're lonely and they feel like they need to be with someone, they settle. And they settle for the settlingest settle that they can. And it's not always a great thing. And sometimes you see your friend doing it and you want to just shake them and be like, you could do so much better. But yeah, just know that lonely feeling will always pass. It will always, always pass. And, you just got to get over it and keep it going. That's all you really have to do. The one that is looking for you or that you're meant to be with will come. And if they don't, guess what? Who cares? You will be fine. I promise you, you will be all right. As long as you have friends and family who love you and support you, you can make it through this life. And I'm saying this because I was there at one point in life. I had to get to a point where I did not care. So, it's just a decision that you have to make in life. All right, I'm done with that because I don't want to talk about dating. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, we're going to get into social media randomness. And this week the past 2 weeks have been crazy. And the past 2 weeks have been really, really, really crazy. Just in social media, I'm going to get into the thing that I think is the worst, which is... oh my gosh, these people who have paid to scam to get their kids into college. Now look, I understand college is important. I do. I have a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees, and it just is what it is. So education gets you far. But if you have the means to honestly pay for your kids to do better, to get the tutoring that they need, to do things that they need to do, why are you bribing people to get into school? Like, I have no clue, and I don't understand why that happens. So I think what makes me the angriest is this. I remember I went to the University of Missouri, and I was a biology major, so I took a lot of upper-level science classes, and I was on scholarship. I was on academic and athletic scholarship. I was blessed. I didn't have to, my parents didn't have to come out of pocket too much to pay for my education. I remember I walked into one of my upper level science classes and a girl looked at me and said, "Are you sure you're in the right place?" And I remember looking at her like, "Girl, yes." "Girl, is this organic chem?" And she was like, "Yeah, but are you sure you're in the right place?" I was like, "Yeah, why?" "Well, it's an upper level science class." I remember just rolling my eyes and telling that girl, go. I didn't really say anything, but I wanted to. I wanted to tell her, go take several seats. So what's sad is it's people out here who are busting their butts to make it into school and to get where they need to go. And then you have people who have way more than the means that are needed to send their kids to school who really don't want to go to school. Becky's kids did her youngest daughter doesn't want to be at school. She's just there for the college experience, game day and parties. Like, who does that? Like, there are people who really need to go to school to get further in life. And she's already a millionaire without going to school. Like, she doesn't even have to go. She has all these followings on, well, she probably used to because she screwed that up. But she had all of these followers and things on YouTube. And it just didn't make any sense to just go for the college experience. You don't even have to enroll in school. How about you just get an apartment on campus and go to game day? You can lie and say you're a student. Like, honestly, I know people who did that my whole time I was in school. You can lie and say you're a student, like, to talk about somebody. I remember the girl who sued because she couldn't get into UT because her grades weren't good enough. And she was like, oh, person of color. Hey, Mom. I'm going to say, hey, girl, hey. It was a person of color who took her spot because of affirmative action. Girl, you were a D student and your test grades were not that great. I'm going to need you to settle all of that down. You should have got mad at the other person who paid to get into that school. How about that? But yeah, it's just, just silliness about that stuff. So I just think it was ridiculous. I don't know. It just, to me, it kind of shows everything that's wrong with America. Like, when it comes to the education system and everything else, like, I just, it makes me angry. It makes me upset, especially when the current administration is talking about putting a cap on student loans. I get it. But how about we find a way to make college more affordable so people don't have to, after they get finished with college, they can't get a great paying job because they don't have any money because they have to pay these loans back. How about we make education more affordable? I mean, in other countries, it's free. So what's wrong with us? But, whatever. That's just me ranting. All right. What's the next thing I wanted to talk about? Oh, my goodness. So the girl who got her butt ate by the jaguar. Let me tell you something. If you haven't heard about this story, this girl climbed the fence at the zoo. She's at the zoo. They're at the jaguar exhibit. The jaguar is just chilling, minding its own business, probably looking at folks talking about, ooh, you'd be a good old juicy burger. And guess what happened? The girl just wanted more likes, so she jumped the fence. Now, let me tell you something. We've talked about barriers before on my podcast. Barriers are in place for a reason. And that reason is so you won't get ate by a wild animal. Just because it's in the zoo does not mean that nothing will happen to you. Yes, she deserved it. I'm sorry. She is a mess. And all she did it for was more likes. Like, come on, more likes? Really? Like, you're going to get ate up for likes on Instagram? If it's that serious, baby, you need to check yourself in. Like, I think that's more along the lines of like a mental illness than anything else. I just think that is a whole entire mess. So I'm happy the zoo didn't do anything to the jaguar. I heard the lady go. She went on the news afterwards, and she was like, she said something like, well, I think, it shouldn't have been that easy to calm the fence. No, baby. Fences are there for a reason. You should have been smart enough to know, oh, it's a fence. Let's not jump it. I mean, come on now. How hard is that? And yes, Deanna, she did deserve that. Like, I mean, I don't understand where people come in thinking that, oh, it's a wild animal, but it's in the zoo, so we can pet it. It's going to listen to me. It's not a dog. It's not a cat. It is not a domesticated animal. This thing used to eat meat in the jungle. So guess what it's going to do to you when it sees you prancing your behind over that fence? You are now meat. You are a zebra. You are a good old slow gazelle. And she had all that white meat like opened up on her little arm, like you could see it. When you cut yourself so deep you can see it to the white meat? Child, she had all that white meat. It's not funny, but it is, because that was stupid. That was just dumb. I don't even understand that. I have no clue what she was trying to do. I don't know what she was trying to accomplish. But yeah, she got what she wanted or what she wasn't looking for. She got it. Yep, you right, Sunshine. She got some good old dinner. The Jaguar got some dinner. They probably, that poor baby, that poor Jaguar. I know he was mad. I know she was mad afterwards, like talking about I had a good old piece of juicy meat. Now I got to go back to this old ground hamburger meat. I don't even know what a cow is. After it got finished chewing on her, but whatever. All right, and then the last thing in social media randomness, poor little Wendy Williams. She had to come out with her truth, and I think what I got out of that whole story, if you don't know, Wendy Williams she came out on the show saying that she's in a sober house because she's dealing with, drug addictions and things like that. And I'm happy she came out talking about it, but I'm happy she came out talking about it, but I'm also sad for her and what she's having to go through because addiction is real. Addiction is actually a mental illness. It's not something that, people are like, you could just shake it off. You could just get help. Yeah, Quinn, she should leave Kevin, but, people hold on to things when they feel like they're lonely, just like the dating tip. Yes, you're right. He is cheating, but, she is where she is. I am happy she told her truth. I'm happy she made it public. So maybe other people who are dealing with the same type of addiction and the same type of thing could, just move forward and get help as well. Because, like I said, addiction is real. Addiction is hard. It's not something that you could just say, I'm done with it. Some people are good like that. Some people can say, I'm finished with it. I'm good. And other people can't. Like, it takes a while to get away from that situation. So I'm praying for Wendy. I'm praying that you're right. I'm praying that she gets peace in some form of fashion. I am praying that she learns my friends. So I'm looking as I'm talking to you guys, I have dialogue on the live feed, and so I'm looking at that and I'm reading, and so it's good stuff. Thank you guys for your comments. I really appreciate it. But I do hope that she gets what she needs. I don't wish divorce on anybody, but when you're in an unhealthy relationship, that can contribute to more, underlying things like addiction and trying to escape from your reality. So I wish her the best, and I'm praying for her. All right, let's get into this. I know everybody is like, what she mean? She not wife material and she married. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. So a while ago, I think about 2 years ago, probably right before I met my husband now, I wrote a blog that talked about why being more than wife material. And I wrote it, I came to a place where in life where I had to look at things and finally come to the conclusion, the end of some things. And I've always said that I'm not big on fairy tales. I'm not big on stories. Make-believe really doesn't, help me out. I like more action stuff. But I like more action things. But when it comes to fairy tales, I was never a big believer. All the Disney stuff, that's great entertainment, but for my life and where my journey, I've never, ever, ever believed in fairy tales like that. And so the one thing that kind of hit me as I got older, and like I said, as I matured into my 30s, was I have to be more than wife material. And what does that mean to me? Like, what does being more than wife material, what is it about? Because I'm a Christian. I love God. And, we get told about the Proverbs women and how she's a good wife, but we don't know about what she was before she was a wife. We just know what she was there in the book. And that happens with a lot of women in the book. So, at one point, what are we supposed to do while we are, just living? I'm not, in my mind, I was never going to just sit around and wait for a man to find me. Like, that was just foolishness to me, because I'm not about to waste my time trying to figure out if somebody's good enough. Because, yes, like I said, me trying to figure out if somebody was good enough for me. I wasn't about to waste time sitting in the house like, I don't know. I don't know, but I wasn't going to do it. So in my life, I got to a point where I told myself, look, either you're going to wait around for something that could never happen, or you're going to live your life the way you want to and the way that you can. And you're going to be the most productive person, not woman, not man, not anything, the most productive person that you can be, and not focusing on what you don't have. So I want to say it started when I decided to buy a house. A lot of people were like, girl, you buying a house? What you buying a house for? You're not married? Well, I need a place to stay. So what do I look like waiting on a man to come for me to get a place to stay? Like, it didn't make any sense. And people were like, well, you could just get an apartment and then wait till you get married to get a house. Well, what sense does that make? Because I would just be throwing my money away on rent when I can own something that is mine, that can improve my credit, that I can say I have equity in, that when, everything is said and done, when the mortgage is paid off, or even before the mortgage is paid off, I can use my house to make money for me. So why would I wait to have, something lucrative for myself rather than, waiting for a man to do it? So it just, did not make any sense to me. And then, so I bought my house. I was like 27 when I bought my house. And then I was still trying to figure out things like, oh my God, I bought a house. And then I remember my grandfather, bless his soul, and I loved him so much, both of them. He was like, girl, you gonna get a house? Who's gonna marry you now? And then it was when I went to Missouri, and I remember telling him, you know what, Grandpa, if I get married, I do, and if I don't, I don't. But guess what? If I need somebody to cut my grass, I can afford the lawn man. If I need somebody to do something, guess what? I can pay for it because I make enough money to do it. I didn't have to wait on anybody to do things for me. Another situation came up. It was time, like I got, you just get tired and you ready to travel. And, I've been several places by myself. It was great. It was fun. And I remember one time I was traveling across seas and somebody said, like, girl, that's dangerous. Where you going? You going by yourself? You don't have nobody take care of you and watch your back and blah, blah, blah. And I remember thinking, well, what if he can't fight? I mean, if I don't have anybody, what am I going to do? Am I just going to sit here and wait for somebody to take me somewhere? That made no sense to me. So it just, like, it came little by little. Like, it came with more self-love. It came with more self-awareness of who I am and figuring out who I am and knowing what I wanted. Because, like I said, life doesn't end when you get married. That's not the ending concept of everything. Life keeps going. Like, you still have to know who you are before you get married and after you get married. Because if not, if you lose yourself, like, what do you have to offer anybody if all you can say is, well, I'm a wife? Like, no, I'm not knocking anybody. If that's what you feel your full purpose is, then, that's just what it is. But, at some point, the kids leave. You and your husband are going to be, your husband's going to love you. But what happens if he dies? So what are you going to do? Are you just going to say, well, you know what? That was my title. I'm only a wife and that's all I know how to be. Like, you have to figure something else out. You do. Michelle, girl, build your house. I admire you for getting your house built. Do it. Like, we shouldn't wait on anybody. You have to know your worth before you get married. You have to. And I say that because when I met my husband, when we met each other, I was not trying to settle down. Like, I was having a ball. I was having a ball with my family. I was having a ball with my friends. I was having fun by myself. I didn't need him to take me to the movies because I could do it on my own. I was having fun taking myself out to eat because I knew what I like to eat, and I didn't have to communicate that with anybody. I didn't have to have anybody in my face ask me what you want to eat. I didn't have to do that. And me sitting here thinking for 5 minutes and him getting frustrated, like what I want to go eat, I could go eat. It is what it is. So and when he met me, at the time he met me, like I said, I was not even thinking about being in a relationship. I was chilling, minding my business in the cut, just kicking it. And he came along. And I think that's what actually drew him to me, was the fact that I had self-worth. I had self-worth before him. And like I said in an earlier podcast, I knew who I was before him, and I know who I am without him. I know who I am if he's here and if he's not. If he decided to leave me today, I will be sad for maybe a second, and then I'm going to keep it moving. Why? Because I know who I am in myself. Like, it's not anything, it's never about just being a wife. It's more about me loving myself enough and me recognizing other people who love me and that I can let in my life, and that I know that they are good enough for me. Not that I'm good enough for them, but they're good enough for me. Like, now I'm at a point in my life where you have to show and prove. Because if I see any kind of inkling of anything that you mean negative to me, or you feel, I feel like you're a danger to me, you got to go. Because I cannot. The boundaries that I have set about my life, the way I have built myself up, I've built myself up from toxic relationships. I've built myself up from toxic friendships. I built myself up from anxiety disorders and just health crisis and everything else. I know who I am. So in order to move forward with that, in order to just live, you have to know who you are, and you have to live your truth. And so you have to want more than being a wife. I've seen these things on Facebook, and I'm like, it's called Wife Institutes, and how you can be, the great wife. But like I said, what happens after that point, that little segment, that little part in the dash that's in between your born date and your death date? What happens in that point when somebody leaves you? Like, you have to know how to do more than be a wife. You are a person. You are somebody who has feelings. You are somebody who has interests. You are somebody who loves. You have emotions that are validated. And that's what you need to think about before you let anybody else in your life. So yes, and you have to be available to love. But you have to know if you are available to love, because sometimes we're at a point in our lives where we can't have anybody. Like, we cannot let anybody in because we've been through so much. So at some point you have to say, you know what? I need to take a chill from everybody. Like, you can love me from afar, but I got to work on my self-worth. I got to work on who I am, what I'm doing right now in this point in my life. And if you can, great. If you can't, like, if you can let little people in, couple people in, that's great. But if you just need time and space to yourself, you are validated to do that. You are. As a person, you are validated to do that. And people can understand it or they can't. But guess what? It don't matter, because it's about you and how you are able to move forward in life. So that's why I never, ever, 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 ever decided to be just a wife. Like, just that has never been something that I ascribed to do, was to be just wife material. I just can't do it. I still can't do it. My husband is great. I give him kudos for finding me where I was. I give him kudos for loving me for who I am. I give him kudos for just putting up with certain things that I'm still working through. He is amazing for what he does. He is great. And when he deals with me, he just loves me through it. He's like, girl, I got you, because there's still some things that I'm still working through, and I swear, I appreciate him for who he is. So that is that. That is my little rant on why I never decided to be, wife material. And it is what it is. It's nothing serious. All right. Last thing. Woo. Last thing. All right. So # lessons learned. So this is my favorite part because I share old wisdom and stuff with you guys, which is funny. I love it. So hashtag lessons learned. So the saying that I'm going to talk about today is the saying I'm going to talk today is your mouth is writing a check that you can't cash. Let me tell you something. I used to laugh at that saying. I'm not one to pop off at my mouth. When I do, it's either because I'm tired, so I just go lay down because I know I just need to take a break and a nap and I need a reset. But I've seen people who just pop off. I swear they do. And I just look at it and I'm like, girl, you saying too much. Chill out. Because you can't cash this check that your mouth is writing. You cannot do it. So, and working in the education system, I see it all the time. I see little girls and boys just pop, 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 pop. Then all of a sudden, the person who's popping off at the mouth gets snatched real quick. And you just laugh because you're like, oh, goodness. So you laugh. So just the moral of that saying is, look, watch what you say to people. Watch your attitude. I know sometimes I have a really sly mouth and I have to check myself. But you always have to approach people in love because you never know what other people are going through. You never know who's having a good day or a bad day. And you have to treat people with respect. It doesn't matter your title. It doesn't matter, how much money you have. It doesn't matter what position you have. It doesn't matter. You always have to think before you speak because at any moment, at any single moment, somebody could just be going through in a bad day. And as we say, yes, Quinn, you can catch these hands. And I am not a proponent for putting your hands on people, but I understand it happens. And I'm just gonna leave it at that before I incriminate myself because I might have coworkers listening. So guys, thank you so much for joining the show today, the podcast. For people who are just now seeing it for the first time, welcome. Welcome and welcome again. I am Janae Strickland Nunn. Please make sure you follow me on Facebook at Confessions from a Red Couch. That's on Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Red Couch Confessions. And then I also have a blog page, which is confessionsfromaredcouch.com. Please go on, read, comment, share, like. If you like what you see, just like it. If you like my podcast, share it. I appreciate it. I just do this because I like to have fun. Like I said, I started the blog because I wanted to give other people a voice because I lost my voice at one point in my life. I didn't know who I was, and then I didn't know what I didn't know what I was going through, and I was in a really deep, dark place. And so now I am in a place where I can actually speak my feelings. I could speak my truth openly, and I'm not ashamed of it. So if you like more, please come on. Michelle, I was on the red couch like the last episode, like episode 4. I was on the red couch. So today I'm in the studio. So it's a red curtain behind me. It's a red curtain behind me. But tune in. I'm on bi-weekly. So every other Wednesday I'm on. So I won't be on next week, but I will be on the week after next. Pray for me. I am a teacher, and I'm in the last push. We're starting to get into April, which is the testing month. Pray for your teacher friends, because they tired. They are extremely tired. Even though we just got off spring break, we are tired. Pray for us. Give us that extra push so we can finish out the school year. I think we got maybe like 50-something more days. So just keep praying for us and touching and agreeing on us. Just when you pray in the morning, put us in your prayer because we're going to need it. But thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Love you guys. And I will see you next time.